Hi everyone, it's the Tuesday evening edition of Weather for Weather Geeks. This will be more of a normal Weather Geeks episode, if you will, compared to last night when we just focused on the snow. Tonight we'll talk a little bit about the medium and long range. We're going to have time to tonight because our weather overall tonight in most places not going to be that bad. There's going to be some exceptions though, so let's get right to the details. Now, not going to spend a lot of time on the current radar because, most of you will be watching this well afterwards, so the information will be a little outdated. But when I was recording this at, let's see, it is 7:20 p.m., we still had some lake effect snow really hammering parts of Geauga County, southern Ashtabula County as well. And the far northern part of Trumbull has had some pretty good squalls so far this evening. Now for the rest of us, we're in pretty good shape actually. The snow earlier on today, I think it was pretty much as expected. Maybe underachieved a little bit, but not by much. I mean, Mercer had a call to the National Weather Service with 4 inches over there. Well, a little more than I expected over there. And then you go down to Columbiana, 2 inches. Some of these reports are from this morning before a lot of the additional snow fell, so some of them are a little outdated. But I think a general 1 to 3 with isolated higher amounts is what fell across the region earlier on today. But again, this evening, we're going to keep an eye on the lake effect. Now, this dominant band has been, I've been waiting for it to kind of shift to the south. It's been taking its sweet time. I think eventually, though, it will make its way a little farther south into our viewing area. Here's our high-resolution Futurecast model, the high-resolution rapid refresh. This is the name of this model, or HER for short. Shows the band kind of separating a little bit overnight and kind of breaking apart a bit, but still impacting parts of Mercer County and Trumbull County. And for the rest of us, this isn't going to amount to a whole lot. So I've made some adjustments to the snow map just before I recorded this. I think down to 224 instead of an inch or outside chance of 2 or 3, a coating should about do it. Maybe someone gets an inch towards downtown Youngstown and Austintown and Hubbard, but that should be about it. Now, you might get 2 inches, perhaps 3 once you're up towards Niles, Sharon, Vienna, Hermitage. But I think if anybody gets more than 3, it's going to be reserved for the northern half of Trumbull and the northern half of Mercer as well with the lake effect. This just doesn't look like it's going to meander as far south as it looked like it would a few hours ago. That's why I said when I first posted the snow forecast, stay tuned. We're going to have to make some adjustments. And as the lake effect is kind of showing its hand a little bit, we have indeed made a few adjustments. All right, temperatures really become the story for the overnight for most of us. It's in the mid-teens here at 7:20 p.m. locally. We've got single digits off to the west, and then below 0 temperatures up across the Midwest. Look at the icebox of the nation. International Falls at 13 below 0. And not only is it, of course, very cold, but it's windy as well, so wind chills are going to be a factor as we go into the night. So tomorrow morning, we skip past the coldest part of the morning, but I think it'll be -4 to -8 as far as wind chill values for most of us at the start of the day Wednesday, and then wind chill values in the afternoon only get up into the single digits above 0. Thankfully, temperatures will actually keep rising tomorrow night, so wind chills will not be a problem at all on Thursday. All right. The rest of the kind of short-term forecast here, the lake effect winds down early tomorrow. We're left with clouds and maybe a few peaks of sun tomorrow afternoon. Just cold, no better than the teens as far as actual temperatures tomorrow. Then we're going to get this weak little disturbance coming through tomorrow night. This is kind of the poor man's version of the clipper that just went through last night and this morning. This will be a much more benign system. Some of us might pick up an inch of fluffy snow out of this. This is not lake effect, but more of a general system. This is Wednesday night, first things Thursday morning. I doubt anyone gets more than an inch, maybe an inch and a half at most. Maybe just enough to cause some slick roads for a time Wednesday night, first thing Thursday. Thursday afternoon, though, the cold air gets ejected, and we're going to get above freezing Thursday afternoon. We'll be well above freezing on Friday as the warm front lifts off to the north. I do think that the next precipitation maker will be in the form of rain. By Friday evening, might take until late evening. I think it's after sunset before the rain gets in anyway. But it will rain Friday night, not snow. And then perhaps a changeover to some snow as we go into the upcoming weekend. So let's talk about that. Here's a look at Saturday, showing low pressure off the coast, dominant low pressure system off the coast, and then a weaker, version of that low pressure zone over Ohio. Well, I keep moving my mouse the wrong way. Meant to grab my telestrator and it keeps kicking me off this map. So you got your low overhead with rain Saturday morning. Here's your dominant low off the coast. I do think as we get into the afternoon and the cold air wraps in behind this, we will see a change over to snow showers. I doubt this amounts to much, but temperatures will actually fall during the day Saturday. And then we're back in the deep freeze with a classic Arctic air mass set up for Sunday and early next week. There's going to be snow showers, lake enhancement. The lakes are still going to be wide open for business. So, you know, some of us will be dealing with lake effect snow showers, or at least lake enhanced snow showers for early on next week. And notice the isobars are packed together here. It's going to be windy, blustery, just nasty, just classic January weather for a couple of days early on next week. Well, how long does that last? I think the Arctic shot early next week is kind of the grand finale of this cold pattern that we've settled into since about January 1st. This is something called the Arctic Oscillation. This is one of the indices we look at to pick out kind of a large-scale patterns across the northern hemisphere. When the Arctic Oscillation is negative, that usually corresponds to colder than average weather across the eastern U.S., eastern Canada as well. It's very negative right now, down to -4 to -6. But notice the trend as we go towards the last third of January. This is the 20th right here. Here's the 28th. So that last week or so of January, the Arctic Oscillation should at least trend back towards neutral, if not go positive, but at least trend back towards neutral. And that should shut off the true Arctic air. Is it a warm pattern? No. It's nothing like we had in December, but it will be less cold, probably starting in about roughly 10 days. So here's a look at the upper levels of the atmosphere, up at 500 millibars, or 18,000 feet. The pattern, again, as we head into the weekend, you got a little lobe of the polar vortex swinging down into southern Canada. Notice our air mass is coming right out of northern Canada in that type of pattern. Well, that lasts for a few days, but then by the middle and latter portions of next week, here's the 22nd, that cold is retreated up here. Our pattern is dominated much more by Pacific air instead of air coming down like this. So I do think that the long-range prospects is for less cold during the final week to maybe 10 days of January. But in the near term, after the warm-up at the end of this week, it's another harsh Arctic shot for Sunday, Monday, and perhaps Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. Thanks for watching Weather for Weather Geeks, the Tuesday evening edition. I'll see you tonight on 21 News at 11. And, I'm going to be keeping an eye on the radars, of course, all evening and posting radar updates as the lake effect tries to meander a little farther south towards the heart of our viewing area. So stay tuned on that and have a great Tuesday night.